Timothy David Paine, born 8th of December 1984, is an Australian international cricketer who currently captains the Australian national team in Test cricket. A right-handed batsman and a wicket-keeper, he plays for the Tasmanian Tigers in Australian domestic cricket and was the captain of the Hobart Hurricanes before his selection for Australia in the 2017-18 Ashes series. A product of the Australian Cricket Academy, Paine became the youngest ever contracted player in Australia when he received a rookie contract with Tasmania at 16 years of age. He made both his first-class and one-day debuts for Tasmania in 2005, scoring a one-day century later in the 2005-06 season, and a double century, 215, in his next innings. He was a part of the state's maiden Pura Cup victory that season and also their 2007-08 one-day winning side. Paine made his ODI debut for Australia as a replacement for regular wicket-keeper Brad Haddin in 2009 against England, scoring his maiden international century. A further injury to Haddin in 2010 paved the way for Paine's Test debut against Pakistan and England. Soon after, he played in another two Tests against India, before Haddin's recovery for the 2010-11 Ashes series. From that time, including almost two full seasons lost to injury, he was not a regular in the Australian cricket side from April 2011 until his recall for the 2017-2018 Ashes series when both Peter Neville and Matthew Wade failed to impress selectors. This was a significant comeback for Paine, who was not a regular in Tasmania's state side and prior to the season had to be convinced not to retire by coach Adam Griffith. After former Australian captain Steve Smith admitted to involvement in a ball tampering incident during the third Test against South Africa in March 2018, Smith and vice-captain David Warner were stood down from their leadership positions mid-match. Paine was announced as the interim captain for the final 2 days, although only one was required to complete the match. He was confirmed as the 46th captain of the Australian Test side on March 28, 2018 by Cricket Australia CEO James Sutherland when Smith and Warner were suspended and sent back to Australia with Cameron Bancroft. Paine captained Tasmania at under-15 and under-17 level, along with being a member of its under-19 team at the age of just 15. He was vice-captain of the Australian under-17, before scoring a first-class century for his university at Hobart. He was always the smallest one playing cricket, his father, John, said. We lived in a fairly quiet street and we lived right next to the beach, in the suburb of Lauderdale, so they used to play a fair bit of beach cricket. We used to have a cricket pitch in our backyard which was the driveway, and the next-door neighbors had a turf wicket which the boys used to roll and mow and do all that sort of stuff. So he had to learn from an early age, I suppose, to be a bit stronger and a bit more competitive. As a junior, Paine was a talented Australian rules player, considered good enough to make the Australian Football League, AFL, and his brother Nick, one of 4 siblings, plays in the Tasmanian Football League with the Clarence Football Club. Paine's uncle, Robert Shaw, was an AFL player and coach. He attended secondary school at Bayview Secondary College and Roney College. At 16, Paine became Australian domestic cricket's youngest ever contracted player when he received a basic $10,000 Australian dollars rookie contract with Tasmania, an innovation in Australian cricket. 8. After Cricket Australia allowed rookie contracts, Paine said, "These new contracts are a great idea, I'm pretty happy about them anyway. It's good to give young players something to show them that they're in the back of the minds of the administrators and the coaches." In December 2003, he was announced captain of the Australian under-19 team for the 2004 World Cup in Bangladesh, played in February and March 2004. Relieved of wicket-keeping duties, Paine scored 142 runs at an average of 23.66 and took 2 catches, along with taking 7 wickets at an average of 22.28 in 8 matches. However, Australia lost the under-19 Plate Championship final to Bangladesh. Paine made his Tasmanian debut as solely an opening batsman in November 2005, during an ING Cup one-day match against Western Australia in Perth, scoring 28 from 44 balls. His first-class debut came shortly after as an opener when Tasmania played South Australia in Hobart during December. Opening the batting, Paine scored a duck in the first innings and 17 in the second as the match was drawn. He made his maiden list a century in his first season, scoring 111 in the ING Cup. The following season he made his maiden first-class century with 215 against Western Australia in a Pura Cup match at Perth in October 2006.